Hello and welcome to Matrix Live. My guests today are Josh Simmons, Managing Director of the Foundation, and Kim, who is a software engineer at Nordic and a tireless organizer of community events, who did a lot of events. We're going to touch on that a bit later in the show. They are here today to talk, of course, about the Matrix conference that is going to happen on September 19 to 22 in Berlin, Germany, because I learned that there are other Berlins in the world. So the first question, probably for Josh, why a Matrix conference?
Well, thank you for having us, Thib, and thank you for the question. It is high time that we put together an event that brings together people who are interested in Matrix in many different capacities. We have had a wonderful community of organizers putting on events like Kim here and Jan, one of the other people that we're working with on organizing. In particular, shout out to the Matrix Community Events ecosystem member. Um, but what the foundation is trying to do here and stepping in and collaborating with our, the people who are already doing event organizing in the space is to create an even bigger tent, right? So we want to create a conference that is both for the people who are working on Matrix, right? Whether you're an engineer, a project manager, a product manager, community manager, technical writer, designer, we want everybody who's working on Matrix to have a space here. We also want to create space for technical decision makers, right? Policy makers. Things that matter to Matrix include encryption, preserving the right to have end-to-end encryption, making sure that such things are not undermined by ridiculous policy decisions. Cat control on the mind right now. Good news on that front today. And so we're just trying to create a space for all of the different stakeholders in the Matrix ecosystem to come together, to learn about each other, to learn from each other. For instance, I was speaking to some folks who work on Matrix in the German government, and they learned that they have an analog in the French government that they were not previously aware of. And both of them are aiming to attend the conference. And it'll be an opportunity for them to get to know each other. And that's exactly the kind of opportunity we're trying to provide for the community by hosting the first ever flagship Matrix conference.
Right, so you have been talking about extending the conference. Last year there was the Community Summit, which was a huge success. Kim, maybe you can describe a bit how the Community Summit looked like last year and if the Matrix conference this year is going to follow the same format?
So actually, the Community Summit started 2 years ago in 2022. It was started by Jan, Nadine, and Christian in Berlin as well. And they just wanted to have a bigger event after having a more or less regular weekly event where there just appeared to be some interest from the technologist and hacker community who were interested in having a bigger exchange. There were frequently people asking from beyond Berlin whether it's worth coming. And so finally, they got together and did what they called the Matrix Community Summit. The first one was a huge success, and 1 year later, last year, the second one followed suit. And now this year, I think we can say that the Matrix conference is definitely heavily inspired by it. So we are following a similar format, albeit not quite the exact same conference. So it is a 4 days event, as Thib mentioned in the beginning. It starts on September the 19th and ends on Sunday the 22nd. It will be kicked off by a barcamp day. So that means people can gather very spontaneously and find topics they want to exchange their ideas about in impromptu sessions. And then there will be 2 days of proper conference on Friday and Saturday with talks and workshops and all of that good stuff. And then finally on Sunday, we will have what we are coining a sprints and workshops day, where specific working groups will have time to get together and work on specific things. And there's also some additional program to that. So this is the thing that's mostly new compared to the previous community summits. There will also be the opportunity for sponsors to have booths where they can exhibit their projects or companies and so on. And also there will, of course, be stands that will accommodate some of our Matrix Foundation ecosystem members. So these will also be represented naturally. So maybe to summarize it, yes, it will be a similar format, but the focus is not solely the community who are in it for the tech, but like you said, we are expanding also into more of a business sector, so we can have this whole ecosystem together in one place.
Right, so it's going to be mostly about getting people to meet together in a single place to gather, exchange ideas, etc., which is exciting. But sometimes the community might want to have its own place. Is this going to be the role of the Barcamp Day, or is there going to be a community summit this year again?
That's a good question, yes. So we decided that this year we want to have one big event in one single place, and to help kick it off, so there won't be any kind of split situation. We don't think that would make sense. So we are not going to have a separate community summit, but instead we are trying to integrate it into the Matrix conference as best as possible. I think the format we just presented allows this very well. So indeed, the Barcamp and perhaps the sprints and workshops day, the Sunday, will have a slightly more of a hint of being community days, while the rest of the conference is just shared between the whole ecosystem.
Right, and that doesn't mean that the community and the hacker side of the Matrix community is not welcome on the conference days. It's very much about getting everyone in a single place and meeting and fostering new ideas and working on things, hiring people, etc. So, yeah, very much about getting together, but also leaving everybody who needs it a bit of room for themselves. Which brings me to the next question, probably for you, Josh. Who can attend the conference?
You who is watching this video can certainly attend this conference. Just about anybody can attend this conference. So, for instance, I think I rattled off a bit of a list earlier. If a person works on Matrix, whether they're contributing upstream to Matrix projects or they're incorporating Matrix into a client or they're building something on top of Matrix servers that are out there, we want you here at the conference. Whether you are somebody who is a developer, a manager, a product person, we really want to make sure we're creating space for everybody who has a hand in building Matrix and building on Matrix, right? So whether you are a spec core team member who helps steward the specification, or somebody who is a downstream user of Matrix. If you're an enthusiast who uses Matrix and is excited about secure, decentralized, federated technology, we want you there as well. Really, the goal is to create a space where everybody who has an interest in Matrix for any reason that's has a time and place to come together, learn from each other, see what's new, see where Matrix is going, and of course, also, again, on the policy side, right? Matrix has a significant adoption in the public sector, particularly in the European Union. That's for good reason. Matrix is a tool that allows people and organizations to communicate while prioritizing data sovereignty and not getting locked into long-term contracts with big tech that might be based in another country. And so we want space for those folks to come together and learn how their respective departments and organizations are adopting Matrix and rolling it out. It may sound like we're speaking to a lot of different audiences, and it's because we are. We really are trying to build the big tent for Matrix. And the way that I think about the conference, and going back a little bit to the discussion of where is the Matrix Community Summit in all of this, the idea is that we're working together this year to build an even bigger tent where we're meeting more people's needs, and ultimately building something that can be a flagship event that runs every year Maybe it's not always in Berlin. Maybe it rotates around Europe, around different continents, and also creates and leaves space for a whole ecosystem of community events that run regionally. I like to look at what happens in other open source ecosystems where, you know, you look at Python, there's PyCon US, right? And then there's PyCon UK, right? But there are also, I run North Bay Python, right, with my husband and some friends. And so there's room for a lot of different events in the ecosystem. And we just want to be the one putting together the flagship events where we can make sure that we're speaking to people who maybe haven't had their needs met yet with the current Matrix events ecosystem.
Talking about needs that are not met, it's easy when we organize a conference to overlook some specific needs that people have as completely able-bodied people. Is the Matrix conference going to tackle those issues?
Yeah, thank you for raising that. So, folks who are familiar with my work even before Matrix will know that inclusive organizing and is something that's near and dear to my heart. Running events that people are safe to attend, that are accessible to people. In an ideal world, I like running events where we have open captioning. We've got room for people who have visual impairments and hearing impairments and who have mobility challenges. And so for the Matrix conference, we've already been working with the venue to ensure that it is accessible for people in wheelchairs and with mobility issues. We are hoping, pending budget, that we can bring in a captioner to do open captions. And also something that as event organizers we've had to confront over the last 4 years now, is the fact that COVID has really changed the game in terms of event organizing. For a long time, it was sort of standard to go to a conference and unsurprisingly come home with a con crud or a con flu. It turns out that was never inevitable and never necessary. And the COVID pandemic has given us an opportunity to learn how we can avoid taking that toll on people, taking a toll on people's health, taking a toll on the health of their loved ones. So one of the other things that we're doing to make the Matrix conference accessible to people is to have a robust health and safety policy. So for instance, I've just purchased an array of indoor air quality monitors, which will be stationed throughout the event so that we have a sense of what the ventilation is, so that we can, open more windows if we need to. But even then, we know that there are going to be limitations to the ventilation and the air quality inside. And so we have a mask requirement this year as we are gathering information to calibrate our process and policy for this venue. So this is an event where we will be asking people to wear masks when they're inside, unless they are a presenter giving their presentation, or actively eating and drinking, or communicating with somebody who is hard of hearing and needs to be able to read lips in order to understand and have a good conversation with one another. So, we're trying to put a lot of effort into accessibility, and I'm sure that there are going to be things that we're going to learn and improve on year over year, which is one of the reasons why we are indeed not just setting policies and working with the venue, but we're gathering data, we're gathering information so that we can calibrate our approach year over year.
Now, the Matrix community is all over the world. What if I am unable to attend in person for some reason? Will I still be able to participate?
That is a great question. And yes, we are, a big part of our budget indeed goes to not just making sure that we have video recordings, but our aim is to also be streaming the content of the conference so that people can participate remotely. Or, if somebody can't make it to the conference in person, they can watch it from home or their office. But say they do make it to the conference. Say they do make it to Berlin, and suddenly they're not feeling so well, right? Maybe they caught a bug before, in transit, or before they left home for the conference. We don't want those people to be excluded. We don't want those people to come and share that bug with other people at the conference, but we also don't want them to be stuck in their hotel room just totally, missing out on everything. And so by having live streaming of our of our sessions, and I assume some chat Q&A facilities so that they can participate even in the Q&A. We really are trying to maximize accessibility for the conference in a lot of different ways.
All right, so the conference is going to be accessible for a lot of people, and it's hopefully going to be appealing for a lot of people from various horizons. Do we have a call for proposals open? This one is probably going to be for Kim, since he's the person who has been fiddling with the software.
Yes, so obviously we mentioned that we are going to have talks as a proper conference should. We have launched the call for proposals, I believe, last week on Wednesday, and it is running until next week's Wednesday, which is the 26th, end of day Berlin time. Berlin time because, well, the conference is going to happen in Berlin. I think that's at 10 a.m. Anywhere on Earth. So if you are not based in Europe but somewhere else, just submit it before 10 a.m. and you'll be safe. I think we also already mentioned that we are welcoming all kinds of different sessions. So talks naturally are one of them, short talks, long talks. Also, we are welcoming workshops. And if you have ideas for sprints and concrete things to work on with a group on Sunday, then this is also a thing.
Is it just going to be for technical talks, or is there going to be room for more?
It's not limited to technical talks, indeed. This is maybe also where the conference is going to be a bit different from the community summits, where just organically people are usually technologists and interested in hacking on Matrix. But yeah, as we said earlier, we are expanding to accommodate a lot more of the ecosystem. And this means that we are definitely also interested in other things. It's been great, for example, to hear from also people like community managers at FOSDEM. We had some of them actually also at the last summit. That was really great. And of course, there's also a lot more things to talk about. What goes beyond that in terms of business and open government policy and so on.
The next one is going to be for you again, Kim, because I really abused your skills and time. Where can I buy tickets if I don't want to submit a talk, but I just want to attend the conference?
Yes, we have put together a website for the conference, and you can find that on 2024.matrix.org. It contains all information we could think of together. And that includes also a link to the CFP. You can open directly also by cfp.matrix.org, but yeah, you can also, of course, find it through the conference website. And they will also find the ticket store. It's embedded into the site, and we have several tiers of tickets. There are tickets for Matrix Foundation members. There are just simple individual tickets and that allow you to attend. There's premium tickets that include a merch package. And then there's the business and sponsors tickets, which will help support running the conference within our budget, I suppose.
Merch, you say? So is it possible to get a limited edition something?
Absolutely. We will have a limited edition mug to have hot drinks. And on top of that, we will have a conference specific t shirt, not unlike this one we made for the community summit, which is absolutely going to be a limited edition for that specific event.
In the various tiers, to get back to making the event accessible to all people, there is one free tier for people who can't afford a ticket. So we have tried to keep the ticket price reasonably low. Maybe Josh or Kim, I don't know, whichever of you want to touch on volunteers to keep that ticket price low. Kim.
All right, I'll take it. This is also perhaps a page that we took out of the community events book, where, well, as the name implies, the community events are run by the community, and we have always been open about welcoming people that want to help. This is how I ended up with the group myself. And yeah, we are doing a similar thing for the Matrix conference and are counting on people who are willing to fill in some odd jobs that will just appear during the conference. And this can be things like setting up equipment before the conference starts, and then during the conference, things like welcoming attendees, scanning tickets, helping people with accessibility needs, maybe introducing speakers on stage, managing stages, handing out and selling additional merch, maybe even things like cleaning up and, as Josh touched on, the whole code of conduct, health policy the
So we need to make sure
area
it's
before.
enforced, yes.
Yes, we will absolutely also take care that it's going to be enforced, which will also be one of the jobs. And then finally, we will need some volunteers to tear it all down in the end. So yes, if you are willing to volunteer and help out, maybe get one of these volunteer tickets for it, then you will find the instructions how to join also on the conference website, which I will repeat is 2024.matrix.org. And I'm sure we are going to remember to put all these links in the video description and blog post on Twim as well.
Yes, because
So.
the host never forgot to add a link in the description.
This has never happened before. So, of course, as you volunteer at the conference, we don't want you to miss out completely and just spend all the time working. No, we absolutely want to make sure that you can also attend those talks and workshops you are interested in. So we will prepare a schedule beforehand, which will try to accommodate everyone that's willing to help. Besides that, you are entitled to get the free entrance ticket as a volunteer. On top of that, there will be a even more limited edition T-shirt that is going to identify you as a volunteer, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get the even more limited merch for free, then join up as a volunteer and help us out to run this. It's a lot of fun, I promise.
Right, and the more people show up, the less work there is for everyone. So really, the more people we have to give a hand, the cheaper it is in terms of time for everyone to get a free T-shirt and a free mug. If I'm an organization and I want to sponsor the conference, where do I go? What can I sponsor? Josh, you mentioned the open captioning. I think that's one of the things that can be sponsored at the conference. Do we have more?
We most certainly do. So if you are an organization that uses Matrix or builds on Matrix or is a Matrix service provider, this is a great opportunity to sponsor the event, substantiate your support of Matrix, and make sure that when people think about Matrix, they think about you, and give yourself an opportunity to demonstrate the work that you're doing in Matrix, and perhaps even do some recruiting on site, since there are going to be lots of Matrix experts there. So we have ways to help you achieve those things for your organization in exchange for you helping us put the conference on with your financial support. So we have 3 tiers of sponsorship. We have the anchor and champion and sustaining tiers of sponsorship. And there are details about those on our website. If you go to 2024.matrix.org and click on the sponsor link, there's a prospectus there that will give you all the information you need about what those different sponsorship tiers involve. We also have some exclusive sponsorships. So for instance, you could sponsor drinks for one of the days or snacks for one of the days. In fact, one of the most compelling sponsorships is often the live stream and video sponsorship, because the most people who see these talks are the folks who are not there at the event in the months and years after the event is run. And your logo will be on every single one of those videos when people watch those. So I highly recommend that people take a look at the Matrix conference website, go to the sponsors page, look at that prospectus. We have tried to create sponsorship levels that can be a fit for organizations large and small. We do not want to keep small organizations out. We want to make sure that you are able to participate as well. And if you don't see anything there that that meets your needs or speaks to you as an organization, please still reach out. Thibaut here is the contact for prospective sponsors, and we would be glad to work with you to find something that is mutually beneficial for the conference, the community, and for your organization.
All right. So it's going to be in Berlin, Germany, on September 19 to 22. We are all very excited, obviously, to organize the conference. We are sure it's going to be a massive success with a lot of people from various horizons joining together, and I think we can have very interesting conversations happening at that conference, because it's a one opportunity to get worlds that don't talk to each other a lot to finally meet and to generate new ideas, to start working on new things, maybe to pool resources to make projects that are more resource efficient. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of productivity as well in the conference. Is there anything we forgot to mention?
I just want to say thanks to everybody who has been helping out so far, all the Matrix community events people behind my back, and everybody else involved. It's been great working with you, and really looking forward to the conference. If anybody is interested in what else we do in terms of community events, I think we can also perhaps put a link to our Matrix community events room in the description. That would be awesome.
Yes, definitely. And the host will not forget this one either.
I'll make sure.
In that case, I'll see you around Matrix Live, and I'll see you in September at the conference. See you.
See you there.
Bye-bye.